Yeah, people, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the channel, welcome back in the space, we're there again, blessings to the people, happy Tuesday to each and everyone, happy Tuesday to each and everyone, blessings to each and everyone that, donate to the people, down on the western side of the island. You don't know where Jamaica will be back even stronger than before. You understand? Speedy recovery, my little island, 876 Jam Rock, here we go, but the reggaeboyz, yes, the reggaeboyz, not the best of start at this moment, for Lee and Chippy Bailey. Not the best of start. That miss, so many games, close to around 2 months out, after Jana put the team, on loan from Aston Villa. I mean, there's not much, but there's just a few speculation in around the reggaeboyz space. And when I'm reading reports, when I'm listening to, other journalists speaking about Roma and they touch on Leon Bailey. The expectation around Leon Bailey is so high, and they're expecting Leon Bailey to come, to Roma and do good stuff for them on loan and to see if it can work out for a long-term future for Leon Bailey. But also, speculations again. It seems like every time, there's going to be a transfer window, Boza linking to the exit door for Club Tijuana. You understand? Credible media personnel predict that Boza might be the first one through the door for Club Tijuana. And Bobby Reid, after getting, his first taste of minutes, after a little injury scare versus Portsmouth, where he came on in around Bobby Reid came on around the 68th minute after that game at home versus Portsmouth, and found out that look, he had a muscle strain. The team have no more substitutes on left, and Bobby Reid have to finish the game with a muscle strain, a little tweak in his hamstring. And Bobby Reid played around 15 minutes over the weekend versus Blackburn. Good to see Bobby Reid is back, and Bobby Reid tipped to start versus Middlesbrough. Look more from now. So big game. I think it's playing at the King Power Stadium, home of Leicester City. Bobby Reid tipped to start. The manager said a few pieces in around a audio clip as well. I think it's an audio clip, but the newspaper putting out in printing as well. So people, that's where I'm going with the show. So remember, big up to the people who are down here. Big up to the people them who gave them donation to the government, businessmen around the country, credible people, so the individual as well, picking it up on them head that look, the people them have to get them essential stuff that they need. Jamaica will be back even stronger. You understand? It's just a part of the journey. You understand? It's not going to be a smooth road. It's not going to be smooth sailing. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be a lot of potholes. Which country in the world don't have bad roads like Jamaica and potholes? You understand? So, I mean, bless up to each and everyone that are putting in the work, man. We're there. I watch as well. You understand? And I help out to local family members and stuff like that. But people, right after this, I'll start the video after the intro. All right, so I mean, look, get this first out the blocks. The Bobby Reid situation, it was a big injury scare, muscle injury, not the best. But I've said it like it wasn't in the worst case of scenario that Bobby Reid will go out to miss the next 3-4 weeks because of a muscle injury. It was just a little tweak in his hamstring that would have just keep him out away from the Leicester City squad for just one game. You understand? So Bobby Reid was back in contention. He played the last 50 minutes. Now seems like Cifuentes, I think his name is Marky Cifuentes, the Leicester City coach. At first, the build up, before the championship really kicks off, he said that he's going all guns blazing with youngsters. He just wanted a few, over 30 players as he building for the future to get this team back up into the Premier League. And I was like, maybe Bobby Reid is not in around, the plans for Cifuentes. You understand, the Spanish coach. But seems like, Bobby Reid is right in the mix, going to play a big part. Big part. I think Leicester City is on 17 points, just a few points away from top 6, just a few points away from the automatical qualifying spot. And with two games to go, they played Middlesbrough, Lukomore from now, and they will play Norwich on the weekend. So big game coming up. Lukomore, it's a big game. The team that sits second behind high flying Coventry City in the championship. Middlesbrough are not going to be any turnover. You understand? They're not going to be any pushover, as I think Coventry lost their last game. I don't remember if Middlesbrough draw their last game or something like that. You understand? So they're looking to bounce back, but Leicester also looking to bounce back from a 2-0 defeat versus Blackburn Rovers. You understand? So Bobby Reid is very much in around the mix of one of the most important player as well for Leicester City. But he said that, going into this game, he's expecting, to make a few changes, different newspaper, in around that cover the Leicester City, the Telegraph. I think Leicester City Telegraph, predicting that Bobby Reid, might tip to start for Cifuentes team, Lukomore from now. So I mean, that's good news for the reggaeboyz that Bobby Reid is tipped to start a game just probably 4 days away from a squad reveal that Bobby Reid will be in the squad, as less there's something drastic happen, which will not happen to Bobby Reid. Because look, Bobby Reid, it wasn't the best window for Bobby Reid after returning back to the national team, but Bobby Reid is always that main player on and off the pitch. He's very important. You understand? His work that he have done over the last games for the reggaeboyz, it's not just on the stat sheet. It's what Bobby Reid does off the ball. That's what Bobby Reid's job is. And not just that, but he can give goals. You understand? He scored at home versus Bermuda as well. But it's not the best aesthetic pleasing game that you will get from Bobby Reid, but that's not his job. In around, even a Leicester City team, a Fulham team, that's not his job. He's not a fair player. His job is more to get the job done, hard working, helping teammates, covering up. And if he can get the odd results like the assists, the goals, then kudos to Bobby Reid. That will be an A+. But Bobby Reid game is not just around flair and all of that. It's just the hard working Bobby Reid, to work his socks off, work for his teammate, being that first player to always trigger press the opponent team. That's really Bobby Reid's job, and to get the energy in around the midfield. You understand? And also to create as well. You understand? Bobby Reid can create. He's a natural number 10. So he gives you that add aesthetics impact in our game. But moving on, Shamar Nicholson. Oh my God, man. Yet another transfer window is coming up. Shamar Boza Nicholson, is tipped to be outside of Club Tijuana. You understand? He tipped to exit the door, in Mexico. Where will it be? Look, man. Look, we can say so far it not work out so far for Shamar Nicholson at Club Tijuana in the Liga MX. It haven't worked out so far. There's been abysmal, campaigns for Shamar Nicholson. And I do feel like, he got his moments, he got his opportunity, in his first games for the club. When Juan Carlos Osorio was there, he just didn't do anything. You understand? He got some assists, he got a goal, but he didn't really, show the Club Tijuana fans that, look, he will be the main number 9 for this football club and to bring the team to the next level of where the football club wants to go. A very ambitious club in the Liga MX. But I'm going to give you guys a rundown of where it really went wrong. Where it really went wrong for Boza. Like, when I saw, the build-up for the Apertura, the first phase of the Liga MX, they played a few games before the team heads off to the US to play in that League Cup, MLS versus Liga MX team, and they did play Colorado, LA Galaxy, and Seattle, and Shamar Nicholson, featured in all those 3 league games, those 3 group stage games for Club Tijuana, and didn't really do much. He got moments. Yeah, he got moments in the game. Even that game against Colorado, he got big moments in the game. I think it was against LA Galaxy. He got big moments in the game. So he started the first 2 games in the League Cup game. Yeah, he started the first 2 and then benched the Seattle game. But the first 2 games, he got moments where should have at least put away one of those chances. And, the team would have played 2 games before they started that little group stage. The team would have played. No, I should say Boza was involved in around 2 games before the build-up of the League Cup, before they played LA Galaxy, Colorado, and Seattle, where it only played 1 minute versus Club America, and it have played 80 minutes versus Juarez in the Liga MX, and Boza didn't score. I don't know, but right in the mix of the League Cup, 90 minutes versus LA Galaxy, 61 minutes versus Colorado. Didn't start versus Seattle. He came off the bench. He played the last 30 minutes versus Seattle. Right after that, the team went back to Mexico. They play Mazaltan. He started the game, played 70 minutes. He benched versus Pachuco. His bench again versus Chivas Guadalajara. And after that, he played 15 minutes versus Necaxa. And that was it for him, the build-up for the September window. And he did get picked for the September window. He scored against Bermuda. You understand? He scored against Bermuda. So the manager picked him. We know why. And then right after the September window finished, following up off his goal versus Bermuda, he played 7 minutes versus Leon. He played 25 minutes versus Santos. He played 45 minutes versus Cruz Azul and 0 minutes versus Monterrey. Those are the 4 games that Boza was involved in. You understand? In a round right after the September window finish. And right in a round after the October window finish. You understand? So looking at it now, November. November, already, the games that he involved in, yet so far, I think Boza have missed like 2 or 3 games, right after the October window, looking forward for the November window. So he involved in Puebla in the squad, didn't play. Toluca played 28 minutes, Pumas 0 minutes. Atlas is coming up on Friday. That will be the last game for Shamar Nicholson, to take part before the November international window kicks back in. And I'm saying, man, I don't think Boza have done enough, for the football club. So there will always be this type of speculation around Big Boza name. But where will the big number 9 land next? That will be the big question if he's supposed to exit. Because one of those games, I think it was the Pumas game, the new striker that they brought in didn't play in that game. I think because he was suspended or something, but he didn't feature in the matchday squad, and Boza still couldn't get off the bench versus Pumas. As much as the team qualified for the postseason already, the team sits on 21, and the team that sits outside of the playoff that looking in to get in, they can't pass them because they're on 17 points. So the team is on a bad run at the moment. I think they last 5 games, 3 defeat and 2 draw. So the team is not getting, on the results on the pitch. It's more looking what the team's going to do in the postseason, in the playoff. So that's it for Big Boza. Moving on, Leon Chippy Bailey. I have some interviews to play from, the coach himself, Gasparini. And I'm going to roll out the first one. Remember, Leon Bailey came off the bench in the 7th minute and then didn't feature in the second half in that Parma game. And this is what Gasparini has to say on what happened with Leon Bailey, in that Parma game.
I wanted to play with Bailey, Dybala, and Sule, and focus on technique, exchanges, and speed. And yet it seemed to me, Bailey, who had not recovered from the match against Sassuolo also because he was having some difficulty being his usual lively, fast player. And so then in the second half, I preferred to insert El Inawi and then play with Cristante behind the other two.
So, it's still fresh around Roma with Gasparini that the player is not 100% fit. Yes, he's 100% clear of healing that injury that he was nursing, that he picked up on his, during his first training session for AS Roma. But this is what Gasparini have said. The build-up for the big game that they played in the San Siro versus AC Milan, this is what he said around Bailey. And I'm saying that I'm going to give you my reaction on what I thought around what Gasparini is going on with Leon Bailey. But this is what the coach would have said in the build-up of Leon Chippy Bailey.
That will force you to miss a week or two, so that's the timing. And Belly, we've stepped it up a bit. For me, he had a good performance against Sassuolo, at least in the first half of the game, and that prompted me to bench him. I didn't think I'd bring him on so soon, but then throw him back on the pitch. Obviously, he's coming off several months of playing time, and maybe after such a long time as he was at Sassuolo, he struggled to recover, but maybe he needs a bit more recovery time between one game and the next, but I'm in good condition. The player has fully recovered. Today, we also saw the latest tests and he is perfectly healed, so now it's just a matter of finding the condition to push forward, play in parts or not, and recover well between one game and the next. He is just a question of being in condition because he is a player who has been out for a long time.
So, I mean, look, it seems like Gasparini made a mistake of, judging the fitness level of a Leon Bailey, or he just made a mistake tactically and just blaming it on the player that is not fully prepared. But again, we can understand that there's still speculation going on that the player is not fully ready as it. And I do believe the coach, but again, man, Leon Bailey going to have to take some responsibility for these type of things in terms of must get back to full fitness as quick as possible. Even the fans will be giving him a leeway so far and coming after the November window. Yeah, coming after the November window. If you get picked or if you don't get picked for the national team, Leon Bailey must start to perform after the international break in this month. You understand? This month, right after the November window, Leon Bailey must start to pick up him sacks because Leon Bailey, AS Roma have 2 games available right before they kickstart the international window. They will play this Thursday in Glasgow versus Rangers, and they will finish off the weekend with Udinese, a team that is kicking up a storm, was having one of their better seasons, But I mean, it's not a good season. It's not a good start so far, for Leon Bailey. It's been ups and downs, Leon Bailey played 4 games for AS Roma, started in the Sassuolo game, very good. That game, I love that game. That was the game before the Parma game, and Bailey started and he played very decent in that Sassuolo game. So again, Gasparini was maybe triggered to say, okay, the ball already. After that, he played around 50 minutes. I think he played around 50 to 53 minutes in that game versus Sassuolo. His return, after played on soil for Sassuolo, played, against Sassuolo when his days at KRC Gang, way back in 2017 season. So maybe that was a game, Gasparini was like, okay, Bailey started the game, played, 10 minutes in the second half. Okay, it's time to come off. They would have said, okay, maybe what happened, bench him, give him time. And he did say this as well, that he kind of probably misjudged that the player need a little bit more days, to recover from game of playing, a game in every 3-4 days. So you need a little bit more gap in the recovery, of getting, build up back that stamina. So look, Bailey, he's going to have to work. He can't just depend on the club. He's going to have to put in his more individual work. He's going to have to do the necessary that he needs to get back on top shape, because they expecting big things from Leon Bailey. You understand? They look at him as a player that can be the X factor. But my thing around Leon Bailey, like, the formation situation, like, when I look at the game that he came off the bench versus AC Milan over the weekend as well, the team was playing in a shape of a 3-4-1-2, where I think Cristante was playing behind Sule and Dybala, and I don't think that formation is really going to get the best out of Bailey, because even when he came off the bench, I think he came off the bench for Sule. Remember who he came off the bench for? I think it was the Argentinian he came off the bench for, and he was playing into a front two with Paulo Dybala, and each time Bailey starting position, he's starting in like a right inverted striker, not more like a right wing where he used to play for Aston Villa, but his starting position is coming from inside, close to the central area, on the park. And I'm like, Bailey's starting position usually, be on the wing where he's facing the defenders, he's facing everything. So I'm not sure if everything is really working out for Leon Bailey at this moment. And the three at the back, and then the midfielders in the midfield, and then the 2 number 10, and you'll have a number 9. I'm not sure if that is getting the best out of Leon Bailey at this moment. You understand? So, I mean, kudos, man. But let me know what you think in the comment section, what you think around Gasparini and also Leon Bailey. Do need to work on his fitness and do need to get back up to match fitness real quick, else it's not going to be so rosy for him at Roma. The fans can really turn at you at quick time. You understand? The fans turn at you like you're flicking on your bulb, your light switch in your house, like cloop, cloop. You understand? That's how quick the fans can turn on you at Roma. So let me know what your